Welcome to another edition of your morning workout talk with your Larry Pharaoh. Yes. Of course, you guys always are gonna catch me on my way to work when I'm doing these videos. So get used to that. That's the norm. I'm not gonna be in my household or in front of my in my office, in front of my PC. I am going to be in the vehicle driving to my slave job. Yes, indeed it is. It's a slave job. We are all wage slaves. You know, slaves of the wage. Without the wage, you cannot exist. So therefore, you are a slave. Had a great workout this morning. And speaking on the topic of slavery, I was having a talk with my wife this morning. I said, you know, we literally work out like 6 times a week. And if you would have told me, I mean, I've always worked out. Don't get me wrong. Like, I've always been into the gym. I've always been into running. I've always been into fitness. That's anyone who knows me from high school, because I played sports in high school. Even when I went to college, I started lifting and working out in the gym. Like, that's one constant in my life that I can say that I've always worked out. Now, in terms of eating, my eating has evolved. I didn't always eat. I'm not gonna say I didn't always eat healthy. I've always been aware and very conscious of my food intake. But in terms of getting better in how I eat, when I ate, prepare my own foods, I didn't do that in my younger years. I didn't cook. I would go out and buy my foods. And the best approach, the best practice is to always prepare your own meals at home, because you know exactly what you're putting inside your food. So with that being said, I was talking to my wife, and we were like, you know, I said, you know, we work out literally almost every day. And I said, you know, this is something that's for the average person would be very difficult for them to do. And she was like, yeah, we do it. And I told her, I said, you know, it's a matter of slavery. And she gave me that look like, here he goes again talking about slavery. But I said, no, it is, babe. I said, it is, because we're all captured by something. Believe it or not, we all have something that captures our minds, captures our souls, all right? It captures our spirit. And I told her, I said, it's like mind over matter. I said, there are many times that I ask myself, I'm like, why am I doing this? But you know you're a slave to something when you have no other choice. And with me, I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. I have to get up and go to the gym. I have to get up and do my yoga. I have to have the way I eat, having a 5-6 hour window to eat, doing 18-19 hour fastings. That's not even fastings. That's what the world calls it. You guys call it intermittent fasting. I don't call it intermittent fasting. That's just the proper way to eat. Again, I keep telling you guys, animals, pets, eat once a day. We're the only creatures that continually stuff our faces, and we wonder why the obesity rate in America is so damn high. We eat too damn much. We need to spend more time thinking and meditating and working out and less time eating. But we eat too damn much. But anyway, that's another topic for another day. So I was talking to my wife. I said, you know, there are times when I wake up, especially on yoga days. Yoga days are the most difficult days to get up on. I'm going to tell you why. Even though on the days that I get up to do yoga at 4 in the morning, it's an extra hour of sleep. So when I go to the gym on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, me and my wife, we're getting up around 3, okay? Because we want to get to the gym, get started, you know, with our workout around 4, get done around 5-ish, 5 something, get home to our kids, get them ready for school, so we can leave out at a good time so we're not running late. But on yoga days, we wake up at 4. So you would think, oh, that's an extra hour of sleep, but it's harder. I'm going to tell you why it's harder to get up at 4. Because I'm in the comfort of my own home. Because I'm doing my yoga in my house, in front of my television. I pop in Rodney Yee. I don't know if you guys know him, Rodney Yee. He's a well-known yoga instructor. And I pop in his DVD. It's about an hour-long yoga video. That's harder for me to do. Not the workout, but the mindset before I get into the workout. That's the most difficult thing for me to do, because I'm in the comfort of my own home. When I wake up at 3 to get ready for the gym, I brush my teeth, get my clothes ready, pack my workout clothes, get my shoes, get all that stuff ready. use the restroom if I need to, and then we leave the house. We drive to the gym, which is about an 8-minute ride. Then when we get there, we set up our equipment. But all those transitions, all those things that we're doing in the morning to get to the gym wakes me up. And by the time I get to the gym, the bright lights are on. We have the loud music playing, and by that time I'm awake. And then you see other people in the gym working out. So that synergistic energy that's flowing between the people that are working out and with me being there to work out, I have an extra boost of enthusiasm to actually do my workout, even though the gym workouts, in my opinion, are more intense than the yoga workout. But the yoga workout is harder for me to do because I'm in the comfort of my own home. Because I really just want to forget it. But I can't. And then you may be asking yourself, yeah, you can. You can do it. You can do whatever you want. I know I can do whatever I want. But I can't. Just like some of you guys who don't work out, and it's hard for you to work out, just the same way you make excuses to not work out is the same way I make excuses to not take my ass back to bed. It's an inverted concept. All right, it's linear in terms of the thought process, but in terms of the direction, it's opposite. They're juxtaposed to one another. See, I have to make excuses not to go back to bed. And it's not that I'm tired and I want to get some more sleep, because my time clock, my body clock normally starts to get up around 3 or 4 anyway, because I've been doing it for so long. It's not that. It's just, damn, like, I gotta do this again? Yeah, I gotta do it again. What else am I gonna do? Go back to bed? No. If I go back to sleep, I won't sleep, number one. My mind's gonna be racing, so I have to get up. It's mind over matter. Matter is my body, the physical. That's matter. The mind is telling you, F no, get your ass up. I can't sleep anyway. Even if I wanted to lay down, my mind's gonna be racing. I'm gonna be thinking like, why am I not up? Why am I not doing my workout? Why am I sitting here? I have to literally retrain my brain, all right, to not be disciplined. And I have to do that consistently to get into the mode where I don't work out. And that's gonna be hard to do. Just like it's hard for a person who's addicted to something to overt or overcome their addiction, that's the same thing with me. And I'm using the term addiction very loosely, because I don't think that I'm addicted to working out. It's just, what else am I gonna do? Like, are you addicted to brushing your teeth? Are you addicted to wiping your ass after you take a shit? No, that's just something you have to do. You take a shit, you don't wipe your ass, that's dirty. You wake up, you don't brush your teeth, that's filthy. That's being unhygienic. That's being disgusting. All right? Do you wipe your ass and clean your ass and shower? Are you addicted to showering? No. It's something that you just have to do. I know sometimes you're like, man, I don't feel like getting in the shower, but you have to do it because you don't want to go to bed dirty. You want to lay on those sheets clean and fresh. So that's the way working out is to me. Now, when I go to the gym and I work out, I have a limit. I'm not in there all day, every day. There's a guy that me and my wife, we have our little side jokes for, but he's in that gym way earlier than us. And he's still in there after we leave. And I think he lives in the gym. I'm being hyperbolic. He doesn't literally live in the gym, but using that as a metaphor, as a figurative form of speech, meaning that he stays in the gym a long time and he's there every day. I don't do that. I switch my workouts up. Me and my wife, we go running and jogging on weekends. And Monday through Friday, we're gym, yoga, gym, yoga. Yoga incorporates stretching, back bends, difficult positions to stay in. You do break a sweat. It's not as weak as you think. I used to think yoga was for girls. It's not for girls, because most women, their hip flexors are a little bit way more flexible than men. So they have the capacity to get in certain poses that we can't get into. And I'm up there struggling and doing what I'm doing. So it's not easy. So yeah, I was talking to my wife about that. She said, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I said, yeah, because I said, once we started this journey of working out together, I've always worked out, but once we started doing it together, it seems like we can't stop. And it's not a consistency that's laden with uncontrollable impulsive urges. Meaning that it's not like I'm going to bed like, oh my God, I can't wait to wake up and work out. It's not like that. It puts you in a very solemn mood. You're not necessarily sad, but you're not necessarily happy, You just know that you have a duty. You know that you have a responsibility to take care of your temple. You know that no matter what everybody else is doing, going to bed late, waking up when they want to, stuffing their mouths when they wake up with junk, to get energy, drinking coffee, putting all these creamers and extra sugar in there. People who were taking chemicals in order to get their energy. I don't take anything. My energy is natural from the foods that I eat and from the way that I live my life. And that's not me bragging. I'm just telling you what I do. I've never drank coffee. I've never been a coffee kind of person. Every time I go to work, it's coffee always in lounges. And people are like, you want coffee? You want coffee? You want coffee? I'm like, no, thank you. I'm good. I don't need coffee. So we're all slaves to something. So a wage slave. If you don't work out, then you are a glutton. You're probably most likely a glutton. You say, how you gonna call me a glutton? I'm not a glutton. Well, if you are obese, you're a glutton. See, your physical attribute will always tell you your sin. And I say sin loosely, meaning that the thing that you can't control. When you see a person that's fit, whether it's a woman that you see or a man that you see, that you know that their actions or whatever that they're devoted to must be in the realm of fitness, because look at the way they look. The product would tell you their engagement. The product is just an indictment of the engagement. So if you're obese and out of shape, it's an indictment of what you engage in. It means you engage in sloppy eating, junk food eating, and you're not taking your health very seriously. Like, when I say your health is your wealth, I know that's probably a cliche term for you guys, and this is something that people say. No, well, I don't know why other people say it, but I'm going to tell you why I say it. Because literally, your health is your wealth. Because health is everything. Think about it. Health is everything. If you can think clearly and you have energy, it doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. If you're sick, what can $1 million bank account do for you if you're ill and you're not experiencing life to the fullest? What can that do for you? It can't do anything for you. So we're all slaves to something. Now, the question you have to ask yourself: are you a slave to something that's beneficial, or are you a slave to something that's a detriment to your health? That's what you have to consider. I've been driving on standard this whole time, man. Now I'm on drive. No wonder this car's been sounding kind of funny. Yeah, today I'm not in my Hyundai Accent. I'm in my Audi. I decided to drive it today because I want to get it washed, so that's why I'm driving it today. Yeah. So yeah, man. We're all addicted to something. Try being addicted to something that's good for you, and it's mind over matter. I'll never forget that quote by Mike Tyson. Being disciplined is doing something you hate like you love it. Now, I'm to the point I don't hate working out. I love working out. When you start off being disciplined, you have to have that mindset to do something you hate like you love it. But then when you do it so consistently, it becomes something that's so natural that you just love it. You may not love the engagement, but you love the product. All right? You love the product. So, we're slaves, man. We serve multiple masters. I know your scriptures tell you that you can't serve two masters. Yeah, you can. You can serve many masters as you want. The human mental capacity is rich enough to be so nuanced that it can have complexities that is not so simple as you can't have two masters. Yeah, you can. You can have as many masters as you want. You can have as many freaking masters as you want. I don't even know how. If you told me 5 years ago, because I used to go to the gym after work. Many years ago, I would go to the gym after work in the afternoons. Then my wife talked me into going in the mornings. Then I started going in the mornings. Then she talked me into going even earlier. See, when you have a good wife or a good partner, whether it's if you're a woman and you have a husband, or whoever your significant other is. A good test of a good wife or a good husband is are they accentuating your lifestyle? I mean, that are they making you better? And my wife makes me better, and I make her better because my devotion and discipline has forced her to be disciplined. But because of her cerebral mindset, being a woman, because women, they do use more portions of their brain than men. Not that men are dumb or anything. Men, we're capable. They think more. We think less. They're always thinking. They have the emotional brain. They have the logical brain. They're consistently using those in tandem. And so when she's like, hey, maybe you should try to go early, I'm in my head, I'm like, I don't want to go earlier. But when she suggested it, it's better because I'm not rushing to work. I'm there early. The gym's not packed. I get a good workout. When I started doing my yoga in the mornings without her, she initially didn't join me. She would only go to the gym with me Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But when I would do my yoga workouts on Tuesday, Thursday, she started to like, oh, okay, I'm gonna join them. So we're helping each other. We're in a way pushing each other to be better. And that's how it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to be with a person that's bringing you down. So the hardest part, I'm in the parking lot now. The building isn't open yet, but the hardest part of my day, to be honest with you guys, like I tell everybody, is not my job. I'm here at my job now. My job it steals my time. I told you guys this before. The one thing I hate about working is that it's a time stealer. It's time theft. It steals my time. My time is very important to me because I have greater things to do and greater things to accomplish just to sit my ass at work, just to make a wage so I can pay my bills. That's what makes me a slave. I don't have a choice. Just like I don't have a choice but to go to the gym. You see now you see the concept? Well, you don't have a choice. Now you may say you do have a choice. Yeah, you have a choice, but are you willing to deal with the consequences? The consequences can be so impactful in a very profoundly negative way that you are not willing to consider those consequences. You're just gonna be like, hell no, I'm not even gonna. I mean, if I quit my job, do you know what that would do to me, my wife, and my kids? If I just stopped working and the income stopped coming in, I can't consider that. That's not even a consideration. So I have no choice. Then even with the working out, do you know how I would feel if I didn't work out? Psychologically, mentally, I would be depressed if I couldn't work out. I'm be honest with you guys. Like if somebody strapped me to a chair and said you can't do anything, you can't be active, I would be depressed because that's part of my living. That's how you know a person is depressed, when they stop doing things that they normally do for fun. If you look on the internet or look at any book about depression, one of the telltale signs of a person who's depressed is they stop doing things that they normally did for fun, or that their normal routines are stopped abruptly. So if you know a person that's consistently always working out and they just stop completely, then you have to ask yourself, what's wrong? So yeah. But I have to be very, very mindful of how we live. That's all I'm asking you guys to do. That's all. And I'm not telling you something that I haven't practiced. I've been on the other side. I've been on the other side of supreme low vibrational worldly living, where I'm clubbing. This was my younger years. Clubbing, drinking alcohol, doing this, doing that. And we all go through that. And we go through those phases. And I don't know what age you are, but most of my audience are in their mid-40s. So I'm assuming that you guys are past that stage. But if you're still in that youthful mindset, shame on you. You should have grown, but maybe your frontal lobe never developed. Maybe too much drugs in your system. And speaking of drugs, there was a popular YouTuber. I forgot his name, and everyone is wondering what happened to him. And very articulate, very smart. He did a lot of research about ancient Egypt ancient Africa. He talked a lot about quantum physics, sacred geometry. He talked a lot about the stars, the cosmological arrangements, extraterrestrials. Like, he delved into topics that you normally would not hear at in school. For sure, you're not going to hear that at school. And he just, something happened to him. His personality, his whole person just changed for the worse. Now, I'm saying this because I've given I've spoken to high school students about the impact of drug use. I don't like to tell kids don't do drugs. I just tell them, if you're going to choose to do this, these are the results. These are the things that can happen to you, right? They have to understand that. And this guy that was a popular YouTuber, he just fell off the map. Like, his content's not the same. He's more bitter. He curses more. And people are saying that he got MK Ultra'd. And if you don't understand what MK Ultra means, that's a CIA operation where they take people and they use all sorts of diabolical tactics to change the mindset of a person, to change the person's personality, to brainwash you, to put you underneath a deep hypnotic state. They literally control you. They have the tech to do it, but they put you. It's a process. So when you're MK Ultra, you are literally altered. And people are saying that's what happened to him, but I don't think it's that deep. Not everything has to be steeped in the mire of what people deem to be conspiracy theories, because that would be a conspiracy. He wasn't that important for the CIA to kidnap or to hold captive and MK Ultra him. No, he claims he was drugged, but I don't think he was drugged. He drugged himself. I'm gonna explain to you what I mean. Every one of us, we all function at certain frequencies, and we all have, and every frequency functions on a different vibrational level. So you have people who function on a frequency that's low vibrational, and you have certain people that function on a frequency that's high vibrational. So that's why sometimes when you connect with somebody else, you guys are on the same frequency. Therefore, you guys could create a good vibe. That's why you hear the term, "Oh, we're vibing." You're vibing because you guys are connecting on the same frequency. What happened to this popular YouTuber is that he wasn't drugged. It wasn't like somebody drugged him. Because he was experimenting with different drugs, that's what impacted his personality. Now, you guys may give pushback and say that's not true. How can just taking drug one time do that to you? It can. There was a guy that I knew. He was a church going guy, young man, very articulate, very energetic, very outspoken. He played in a band at church. He played the drums. So he would occasionally go to house parties. This were our younger years. He would go out to house parties or go out to parties, and people would experiment with alcohol, weed, whatever. They'll do their thing. And he always smoked weed. Like, he smoked weed, but he didn't smoke it like an addict. He would just smoke it on just socially. Like, he wasn't a guy that would just rolling up every day and smoking weed every day. No. So what happened to this guy? That he went to a party. He drank alcohol and smoked weed. Something that he always did. Now, we don't know not every marijuana smoke that you smoke is made equally. You have to know what's put inside the product. To make a long story short, the guy smoked and drank that day, and he was never the same after that. Like, he literally changed in one day. And you may be asking yourself, like, how the hell does that happen? That's the point that I'm trying to make. We all function at different frequencies, and our bodies biochemically are wired differently. Yes, we're all the same genetically. we all have the same DNA, but from a biochemical perspective, we carry certain traits, whether it's through via epigenetics or through traditional DNA. Certain people are more susceptible to the negative impacts of drugs than others. This guy that I'm talking about, let's get back to the popular YouTuber. I was giving you an example of how drugs can alter you. He wasn't MK Ultra, this popular YouTuber. He was using recreational drugs, and the time that he decided to use shroom, whatever he decided to use that day, it altered him. It altered his mindset. It altered his perspective. It changed him. Why do you think when people, I want you to listen to this, when people say drinking wines and spirits, when you think of specs, it talks about spirits. Why do you think they add the term spirits in there? They could leave that out. Most people aren't even spiritual. Most people are based on the physical. They live to their baser animal instincts. That's why people live. They live off of sensation and impulsivity. So when you're selling alcohol, like specs, why do you add the word spirits? Well, they add the word spirits because they understand that alcohol does change a person's spirit. Your spirit and your soul are entangled, and that's what makes you. Spirit, the term spirit has the context of something that spirals. It's your inspiration spirit. It's inside you. It's it, but it spirals in it. You are the it, spirit. Spiral energy. Spirit. Okay? And that's what happened to him. It completely altered him. See, when you start to dabble with different drugs and you have a certain mindset at the time that you're doing it, you got to be careful. See, the creation, or you, an entity, a sentient being, if you've cleaned yourself up, I want you to listen to, even the Bible speaks about this. I don't know the verse verbatim, but it talks about if a man cleans his house, 7 more spirits come back more. So this is analogous to a person who goes their whole life being clean, or they clean up their act. They detox themselves from a anatomical perspective. They detox themselves. They are meditating, putting the right things in their body, and they're on a high frequency. And everyone they come in contact with, they're vibing on a high level. They're vibrating on a high level. When you've opened yourself up to that much information, and you're living above level, meaning above the average Joe, when you start to dibble in drugs on that level, you're more susceptible to be destroyed, because your vessel is so clean that drug that you've taken now has the room to completely go into those empty spaces that you've cleaned out and completely ravage you from head to toe. A person who's already contaminated, who takes drugs, won't feel the impact as a person who's clean. Think about it. A newborn baby is clean. An adult is not as clean, but an adult can take more junk than the baby. That's why when babies are eating, when they're feeding in their first few months of living, everything is crucial. The mother's breast milk, they have to have the best nutrition because they're clean. They are a clean vessel. They're empty of all the vestiges and all the muck. They're empty of that stuff. They don't have it in them. So purity has to go in. All right, to keep them going has pure souls, because they just entered this planet. So this guy, this popular YouTuber, I believe that's what happened to him. I think he cleaned up his act. He was functioning on a high vibe. That's why everybody was glued to his channel. I was glued to his channel. I listened to him a lot. I don't know what happened to the guy. He just fell off the face of the planet. I mean, he sounds different. He does everything different. And we're like, whoa. Is this even the same guy? But he's the same guy. I've seen it happen to people before who do drugs and it changes them. And it's not because they're doing drugs repeatedly. It's just sometimes you have to have the right mixture. See, that guy that I was telling you about, not the popular YouTuber, but the other guy that I was telling you about that was a drummer at the church, he always smoked weed and he was always the same. But for some reason, that party he went to, when he drank alcohol and smoked that weed that day, I don't know what was in that marijuana that he smoked, but he was never the same. Never. So when I say never the same, to the point where his mother had to drive him places. He couldn't even drive anymore. You say, but that's extreme. But I'm telling you the truth. That's what happened. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen to everybody. Everyone has a different symptomatic, illustration of what that drug is doing to them from a genetic perspective and a molecular perspective. Whatever that drug is doing to you internally, it's going to manifest itself differently in different people. I'm not saying that if you do drugs that you're going to be a vegetable. But this guy wasn't necessarily a vegetable. He just couldn't operate anymore. He was done. And this popular YouTuber is similar. Yes, he can still talk, but that mind that he had, that sharp mind, and that heart that he had for the people is gone. Now the people that he loved, he's now cursing all of them out. It's almost like he's the opposite. So I don't think he was MK Ultra. I think he drugged himself. Initially, he was saying that he was drugged. He wasn't drugged. He took the wrong mixture of drugs, and it effed him up. Whenever you take psychotropics like mushrooms and you mix it with cocaine and weed, and when you do all that stuff, who knows what you're going to get into. So it's just unfortunate for him that his change was seen by the masses because he had a social media account, a very popular YouTube channel. See, a lot of people go through these changes chemically and we don't know them. Only their close family members will know them. But because we watched this guy for so many years operate one way, then all of a sudden he changes the way he operates. We're like, damn, what happened to you? We can see it. We can see the change. But it happens to many people. We just don't see them because they're not popular. So be very careful with drugs. All right? Be very careful. Don't even do them at all. But hey, do what you do. Do what makes you happy. You can either be a slave of drugs or you can be a slave of nature and allow the things that nature produces to give you the natural high that you need. Because I'm telling you, when I work out, endorphins are released. What's the drug? What's the drug? Is it endorphins? Is another hormone. I forgot what it is, but it's a feel-good hormone. That's why when people do the working out, they're like, they feel good. That's a high. I love that kind of high. Because that kind of high is backed up knowing that I'm doing something that's good for my temple. And I don't feel guilty about it. But if you do drugs and you feel good about it, you know you're putting toxic filth inside your body. We are in 2024. There's no excuse for anyone to be walking around ignorant. And if you are ignorant, it's because you are willfully ignorant. We are in an information age where there's so much information out there that you can be overwhelmed by it. But if you want to find and seek something, you have the capacity to do so. Now, you may fall into traps where you're being misled and being misinformed. Nevertheless, you still have the opportunity to dissect and then analyze both concepts and make your own decisions. So if you're having one person on one end saying something that's totally different from what you're reading somewhere else, that's okay. You compare the two and you use your brain, cognitively use your brain, use your critical thinking skills that you were given when you were created, and apply it, and then make a decision from there. I'm not saying that the decision you make is always going to be correct, but at least you're working the critical thinking brain muscles and you're actually making them function rather than letting them sit there and atrophy. So when you do that, you become a better thinker, you become wiser. And if you do that every time in your life, you're building that capacity to be a well-established critical thinker that can actually make sound decisions and have a good spirit of discernment and to know when they're being bullshitted. That's why my bullshit radar is very high. I know when I'm being lied to. It gives me a sense of peace. All right, many of you guys who get fooled by the system, by the matrix system, you guys don't have peace because they induce fear. That's what they do. They just give out fear of a storm, fear of a biological weapon, fear of a disease, fear of this, fear of that, fear of this, fear of that, fear of a storm coming, fear of a hurricane, fear. That's what they live out. There's a strike right now going on in the port. Something about the port of Houston is like a strike. Workers aren't working. So now the fear is that foods and things are not going to be stocked in stores. So people are running out to stores to buying all the toilet paper and buying as much food as they can because they're trying to stock up just in case there aren't any more items in food stores, but that's what they always do. Everything that's done in this world is to drive commerce. You say, what do you mean drive commerce? Drive commerce, capitalism. Everything is done to make you go out and shop, 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 shop. They induce fear to get you to run and buy things. When the little pandemic happened, people were rushed to go get their masks. Everyone was buying masks. If you produced masks at that time, you made a lot of money. Same thing with the years. You have Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Son's Day, Daughter's Day, Grandfather Day, Grandmother Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, St. Patrick's Day. You have all these days and people are going out shopping, shopping, shopping. So these strikes that are happening, and the news is telling people that, hey, they're not going to be able to move items in the store. Their stores won't be stocked with food and items. You better go out now and buy your products. Well, the strike is just a game. There's no reason why the strike should go on. However, I'm not saying the strike is not real. It is there. But the bottom line for the strike is not what you think it is on the surface, is that these workers are striking for whatever reason that the news is telling you. Because I don't really give a damn why they're striking. All I know at the end of the day, everything that's being done is for the bottom dollars to drive commerce. And if it can make people go out and spend money, then that's a good thing. War is a good thing because it makes countries take loans from the Federal Reserve banks, and the banks get richer to go to war. I mean, everything's about money. And there are other factors too and other motives why people do what they do. So anyway, don't be a slave to things that are going to be destructive to your body. Be a slave to things that are going to be great for you. Don't be a slave to drugs. Don't be a slave to anything that's going to alter your mindset. Use nature. And many of you guys say cannabis is from nature. It is. But when you start to add heat and chemicals to it, you change the chemical property of that so-called weed, and it's no longer the same. So don't use that to try to get by. There are other ways to calm yourselves down. Natural sunlight does you well, but we don't believe in it. We run from the sun because our white counterparts have told us that the sun is bad for you, that it's going to give you skin cancer and make you blind. Continue to live like them, and you will continue to be oppressed because they're the ones setting the metric. Every biological marker for the human being, whenever you go to a hospital, when they tell you when they say this is the ideal weight you're supposed to be, this is what a good heart rate's supposed to look like. They're taking the metrics of their people, of the Caucasian, and they're using Caucasian people as a standard, where biochemically and genetically, because of the higher degree of melanin content that we have as people, our genetic markers are going to be different. So we cannot apply the same baseline medical metrics that doctors are using to measure what's good and what's bad. We can't use the same thing that they're using, that the white people are using, because from a biochemical perspective, we're different. Our numbers are going to be slightly different. So, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. All right, you guys take care. Leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see you guys again Monday. And again, I'll see you guys Monday for another morning workout talk. All right, peace.